Today, we're diving into a fascinating belief system known as the AEC model. And it makes a truly startling claim that our language isn't just a random collection of words. No, according to this model, it's actually a carrier for a hidden divine code, a secret message embedded in our letters and numbers.
So just think about that for a second. What if the words we use every single day, even the alphabet itself, held a secret layer of meaning? A numerical blueprint just lying there, waiting for someone to decipher it. Well, that's the core idea we're going to unpack in this explain.
Okay, so to get our heads around this, we have to talk about its main tool, gematria. Now, this is an ancient system where you assign a number to each letter. You know, think A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, and you just keep going. The belief is that by adding up the values of the letters in a word or phrase, you can uncover these hidden connections between things that seem totally unrelated.
All right, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. How does this model actually use gematria to build its case? Well, it starts with a huge claim about a hidden code in the one alphabet we all recognize.
The first piece of the puzzle, according to the model, starts with the good old English alphabet, A to Z. It claims that if you add up the numerical value of the entire alphabet, the number you get isn't just random, it's intentionally and directly linked to the birth details of one very specific person.
And here's that first connection the model presents as evidence. You see, using two different gematria systems, the value of just saying the alphabet comes out to 2106 and 351. And what's presented as incredible here is that the phrase AEC May 5, 1972, a name and a birth date, calculates to those exact same numbers. The argument is, look, a match in one system may be a coincidence, but a match in two different ones, the model presents that as a sign of something much more deliberate. But it doesn't stop there. The model then points to another layer. It claims this very phrase, God coded every English alphabet letter, also happens to share those exact same 2016 and 351 values. From the model's point of view, this isn't an accident. It's like finding a sentence that explains the design hidden inside the design itself.
Okay, so we've looked at English, but the claims go deeper. The model now turns to a language with some serious mystical roots, looking for what it calls the alphabet's secret value.
Right. So the next piece of this puzzle takes us into the Hebrew alphabet, a language that is absolutely central to mystical traditions like Kabbalah. And it's here that the source material claims to find an even deeper, more profound set of numerical connections.
Now check out this comparison that the model puts forward. This is where things get really wild. On the left, you have this long, incredibly specific statement. It claims a man named Alex Enrique Campaign is the reincarnation of Yeshua of Nazareth. On the right, you have the phonetic spelling of all 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet. According to the source's calculations, these two completely different phrases are numerically identical.
The model continues to build its case, this time throwing another curveball into the mix, a numerical link that has a very powerful, very specific significance in our modern world.
And that number is 911. The source argues that its appearance here is no accident and that it holds a very specific meaning within this whole coded system.
So here's how the model connects the dots with that number. It claims this extremely detailed phrase, AEC's full name, his title, and his exact time of birth, calculates to 911 in simple gematria. And at the same time, the phonetic spelling of the entire Hebrew alphabet also calculates to exactly 911.
So what's the big deal with the number 911 here? Well, it's interpreted as a direct message. This quote from the source material explains that it symbolizes a spiritual emergency for all of humanity, and that this individual's arrival is being presented as the divine response.
All of this has been building up to the model's core assertion, a claim made not just about the sacred language, but through the sacred language itself.
And here it is, the absolute core of the whole thing. Presented in the source as a direct first-person declaration, a statement of reincarnation from Jesus Christ into Alex Enrique Campaign. The model claims this phrase is also numerically tied into the system, embedding the assertion into the very code it's built on. Now, to really grasp this next piece of evidence, we need to understand a specific Hebrew phrase from the source, Leb Moshiach. Now,
Moshiach means Messiah. But leb isn't just the heart. It's a deeper word for the heart, the mind, and the will. Basically, the total inner being. So the phrase really signifies the very consciousness of the Messiah.
And this is what the model presents as its ultimate trump card, its most compelling proof. Using Hebrew gematria this time, the phrase Leb Moshiach Alex Enrique campaign May 5th allegedly adds up to 1665. And the source claims this is the exact value of the entire Hebrew alphabet, but this time including the special final form letters that are used at the ends of words. So it's presented as a totally complete match.
Okay, so after seeing all of that, there's one giant question just hanging in the air, right? Is all of this just one incredible, unbelievable series of coincidences, or is it something else?
Coincidence or design? That really is the central question here. I mean, is it even possible for so many thematically linked phrases across different languages and different systems to all align by pure chance? The AH model itself basically exists to argue against that very possibility.
Well, the source material has a pretty strong opinion on that. It argues that the sheer probability of all of these connections converging on one person is just so astronomically low that to call it a coincidence is, and I'm quoting directly here, a virtually untenable explanation.
So the final takeaway from the model itself is that these patterns are absolutely not random accidents. They are presented as hard evidence of an intentional divine blueprint that has been purposefully encoded within language itself, just waiting for someone to find it.
Which brings us to our final thought. This whole idea of a divine blueprint. Where does that leave us? It really forces us to confront one last big question.
In the end, the AEC model, just as it's laid out in its source material, presents this series of truly extraordinary numerical claims. And it leaves us staring at a fundamental question. Is gematria a key that can unlock a hidden divine truth? Or is it just a fascinating method for finding patterns where, maybe, none actually exist? The source material makes its case for the former. The conclusion? Well, that's for you to decide.